So let's get right into this. All right, identifying toxic relationships. Well, the word toxic. Yeah, thank you for the love. Thank you for splashing some love. And by the way, you can also help to share this live session to your friends. All right, so feel free to use the share button, tag people, as much as possible. Let's get more people in. All right. Now, when we talk about toxicity, the word toxic basically means something poisonous, something harmful, unpleasant, pervasive, insidious. Those are other words the dictionary will give you. But as basic as it is, it's something poisonous. And something poisonous means it is unhealthy, means it's capable of harming you. Give me a second. Let me get my devices silent. All right. It means it's capable of harming you. All right. For some reason, I don't know if my network is up and going, so somebody can just comment that you can hear me live and clear. All right. You can hear me loud and clear. All right. So anything toxic means that it is poisonous. It's harmful. All right. So when we're talking about toxic relationships, we're saying that there are certain relationships people get into. Okay, I see the love. Thank you. There are certain relationships people get into that are detrimental to them, to their spiritual health, to their physical health, to their emotional health, to their psychological health, and even to their financial health in some cases. You understand? So, so any of those kind of things are what I want to shine the spotlight on in this couple of weeks. And my intent is that somebody will find knowledge, will find hope, will find strength in the things we're going to be sharing. All right, let me say this. A lot of relationships are toxic. A lot of people in relationships are toxic people. All right. Now, what that means, so I said this second one to correct one I said at first, because it's not the relationship in itself that is toxic. There's nothing wrong with the term relationship in itself. It is always the people who go in. And it is the same people who take that same toxic behavior and trait into marriage. And then they say marriage is terrible, it's difficult, it's hard, it's whatever. No, marriage in itself is not hard, all right, as it is presented. It is people who are hardened, and they take their hardness into marriage, all right. Now, these are very, very, very basic principles, but if you get it right, see, your stress is gone. If you get it right, relationships and marriage in themselves are not bad or good. It's just what it is. It is people who get in there with the qualities of themselves, with their personal traits and behaviors. They take those behaviors into relationship and into marriage and begin to manifest those behaviors. All right. So when people say marriage is just a very difficult thing, it's very hard to get it right. No, it's human beings who are very difficult and who have taken that difficulty in them and all their weaknesses and their shortcomings and their bad behaviors. They have taken that into marriage and frustrating another person. And that person came with their own dose because it's usually it's not only one person sometimes that is the cause of the issues. Usually it's both parties. All right. And I'll talk about conflict one of these days. And I pray I take it just after this series on toxicity, and I'm saying that because you will get to understand that the origin of some of these conflicts are not it's not anything up there or very one big mighty thing that no, it's as fundamental as you and your upbringing and your experiences. And it's you. It's not something, it's not external, it's not, in many cases it's not spiritual, it's not all of that complex thing. It's you. It's you. If you're able to understand it and break it down to that point, then it will be easy to navigate conflict and to resolve them. All right. So let me leave that for the next conversation. But as I was saying, every human being has parts of them that, their partners will not find comfortable. And that is the truth. And it's not any doing of theirs many times because, like I've said time and time again, the events of your life from the moment you were born have been conditioning you in a kind of way. You probably just didn't know it. All right. But something about the way you think, something about the way you behave, something about the way you interpret life, your worldview, your interpretation, something about all of that has been conditioned into you unknowingly from your childhood. All right. But when you see people behave in a particular way, many times while you're attacking that behavior, you may just be dealing with the fruits and not the root of the issue. Okay, you see somebody who is very hot tempered, and you tell the person, "Don't you know you're not in a relationship? You're not in a relationship. You can't continue behaving like that. You will lose your relationship." The person will continue behaving like that after apologizing every time. It's not because they don't know it's wrong. It's actually because they are not empowered in any way to solve that problem. It has been a part of them, and that is the only thing they know to do. So when people respond in a kind of way to provocation, it is because that is the programming they have received subconsciously. All right. Why shouldn't I yell? That's all I know to. So let me put it this way. It's what you put in a container that will come out of it when you want to pour it out. So let me use the normal example we usually give. When you squeeze the toothpaste, right? What comes out of that tube is the toothpaste that had been put inside. All right. If you take a loaded gun, I'm sure everybody will relate to this one. Now, if you take a loaded gun, all right, and then get the safety off and pull the trigger, what will come out from that gun is bullet because it has been loaded. All right. Now, if you take a water gun, load it with water, and pull the trigger, it's not bullet that will come out from the water gun. It is water that will come out from the water gun. Why? Because it is what you put inside that it will bring out. So like they say, garbage in and garbage out. All right. So in the same vein, it is what is in you at that time of that conflict or that situation, that issue, whatever it is, that comes out. It's not somebody that caused it. It is that is what is there. So when that event happened, it came. So an event happens that is provoking you, right? But what happens is that when that event met you, it met provocation inside you, and provocation responded. That is how what I'm saying. It is what is inside. It is what is there. You can only bring out of what you have. It's not another person that causes it. It's not another event that causes it. And why am I saying this? Because we all have areas where we need to keep improving, where we need to keep developing ourselves. Many people exhibit some of these toxic traits that I will talk about in a bit without even knowing it. Without knowing it, they think it's just okay. They think that's just how things are done. There's this saying that if as a carpenter, all you have in your toolbox is a hammer, then you will treat every solution as a nail because that is the only skill set you have. That's all you know how to do. Any situation that comes, you will hit it. You will hit it because that's all the tool you have and that's all the skill you have. But by the time you're able to diversify your skill, when you meet a situation, you know that, okay, this doesn't need a hammer. Perhaps this needs a plier, or this needs a screwdriver, or this needs something else. I just need to apply an abrasive here. Do you understand? Because now you have built capacity. There's more skill. There are more options. So that person who is always behaving in a toxic way, sometimes when you check it, it's because there's nothing else in that reservoir except that toxic trait. So that is what comes out. That is why they will apologize from now to next year. In fact, they will marry 4 or 5 times. It is the same behavior transferred from person A to person B all the time. And then you start hearing things like this person cannot change, is very wicked. But the person does not know that they're wicked. So if you ask some of them, they'll tell you I'm very nice, I'm a very gentle person. Everybody loves me. It's just people that don't understand me. And you're wondering, what are you saying, guy? But I know you, man. You're not near nice at all. You see, but I will tell you, it's you that don't understand. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, let me keep it within the context. Toxicity, all right? So those behaviors, those qualities in any person, that are detrimental to both themselves and to their relationships. Because you see, you may think you're just hurting the other relationship, but what you don't know is that if all your relationships are failing, it's also affecting you. It's also destabilizing you emotionally. Do you understand? So it's not just those people that you're hurting, you're also hurting yourself. It's also affecting your own plans, your own goals and all that. Let me just cut right to it. All right. So let me say something. You see, the human being, the typical human is a tripartite being, spirit, soul, body. That's what I'm trying to say. The spirit, soul, and body working, as expected, as should, is what makes you a sane human being operating on planet Earth. All right. Because if the spirit checks out, it means that the whole body has packed up. So when the spirit checks out, the body cannot keep operating on earth, so the person dies. All right. Of course, the activities of the soul, everything is over. Do you understand? So for you to be operational on earth, spirit has to be sound. Your soul, which is like your central nervous system, which does all the powering and all the connection of the spirit and the body to be able to make sense of the environment, earth, where you're living. All right. And then your body, which is the container, the external container we can all see and relate with. All of these have to be in sync, have to be working, have to be correct. All right. So when the spirit is not alive, I mean, the person is dead. When the mind, if the spirit is there, but the mind is not well, all right, you say the person is mentally unwell. All right. And such a person cannot engage in the normal day-to-day activities of life, cannot get into agreements, cannot do certain things because they're said to not be in a conscious state of mind. All right. And then when the body is down, when the body is not feeling well, the person is hospitalized. All right. So it means that at that point in time, while your spirit may be whole, all right, but that spirit is limited by the fact that this body right now can only be in this place at this time. So in your mind, you could be seeing yourself traveling the world and doing great things, but guess what? Your body is kept in one place because the body is ill. So what am I saying? At the end of the day, for a relationship to be healthy, it has to appeal, it has to support, it has to enrich you wholesomely, your spirit, soul, and body. Let me emphasize that again for somebody. For your relationship to be healthy, it has to be enriching you wholesomely, your spirit, soul, and body. So if you have a relationship that is probably feeding your body but destroying your soul and your spirit, that's very unhealthy. I will give examples, so forget all of this theory I'm saying. I will give examples, and some of you, if you want to share in the comments, please feel free to also share. All right, so I just said that because when we're talking about, toxicity, any experience in your relationship that makes you feel like you are less of yourself, makes you feel like you're not good enough, it demeans you. It makes you feel like I'm alone in this thing. I'm not getting support. Someone's always trying to talk me down. Someone's always making me feel like I'm not important, like I'm privileged to be in their life. Any relationship of such is a toxic one. Let me see if I can use a definition. I've just been explaining. So a definition I picked up online is a toxic relationship is anyone that makes you feel demeaned, misunderstood, unsupported, or attacked. Okay. I would say demean, anything that reduces your self-dignity, that makes you feel less of yourself, like you're not good enough. This thing is happening a lot in relationships. There are so many people that are balancing very comfortably in their relationship. In fact, changing hair and doing new style every day, but deep down in their hearts, they know there is emptiness, and every day it just keeps getting emptier because this partner of theirs is draining them, is sucking out of all the life and meaning and anything that makes them tick as a human being, and they're still there. It's for people like that I hope my message will get to let them know that they're becoming a shadow of themselves. And if they don't do something drastic, they may actually lose themselves and all of the great gifting and purpose that God has placed in their inside. All right. So let's move on. So a relationship is basically toxic when either your physical, emotional, psychological, self is being threatened in any way by the intentional activities of your partner or even anybody in general. So the thing about toxic relationships is that it's not only particular to romantic relationship and marriage. I'm sure you know that. There are people in the workplace that are very toxic. All right. There are people in the workplace that make you so tired of going to work because they create this very terrible aura around themselves, and every time you come around them, there's nothing positive, negative vibes. They're speaking evil, they're speaking weakness, they're talking you down. They're treating human beings like slaves and talking down on people, and some people think, yes, it shows that they are tough. No. It shows that the person perpetrating that behavior is not well, actually. They are not emotionally well. They are sick, actually. And they may not know it. You see what I'm saying? People have toxic behaviors and they don't even know it. But I'll come to that somewhere in the conversation. All right, so it's not only in your romantic relationship. As I'm saying this now, you may discover that in your workplace, this is how I always feel when I'm around my boss, or this is how I always feel when I'm around my colleague. That environment, that energy is toxic. Why? Because it's demeaning you, it's not supplying the support you need, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. All right, it's attacking your self worth, and then it's toxic, right? Now, somebody will say, but the person that is behaving like that said, I'm just trying to build you up. No, if they're really trying to build you up, and let me just say this lest I forget, the fact that certain things work does not mean a validation. So let me put it this way. There are parents who were really very, very crude with their choice of disciplining their children. You beat them anyhow, break their head, break their leg, and they say, I'm trying to train the child. And the child eventually grows up and becomes a successful professional. And you say, it's because I was that hard on that child. The fact that that person became successful later does not mean that your method is what produced it. Because what you don't know is that while you were doing all those things, you were killing other areas of their emotional development. And now some of those people don't know what empathy means anymore. Some of those people take it out on their partners. Their partners are the ones suffering it. All right. Some of those people are repressed. They don't know how to express their emotions. Because you have destroyed everything about expression in them. But now they have gone out there, they're succeeding in career, but in their interhuman relationships, they're suffering and they're punishing people. So my point is, when people are doing terrible things to you and they tell you that I'm doing it for your own good, no, they don't know better. They don't understand. It's not for your good. It's actually affecting you. So let me keep it within the context of relationship, romantic relationship, so that I can do more justice to it there. So take note of a number of words I said. One is that it's an intentional activity by your partner. It's not like they don't know. You have told them before, I don't like it when you talk to me like that. They will talk to you like that the more. It's intentional and it's repetitive. It happens again and again and again and again. All right. No matter the kind of apologies they give you, the truth is they are comfortable treating you like that. And there's an end point they want to get to. And the end point is actually that point where you lose yourself and you don't have a say, you don't have a voice, you don't have a will, you don't have an expression anywhere around them, and then they begin to control you just exactly the way they want to. All right, so I'll get into examples now. So any behavior that makes you feel less of yourself from your partner persistently, all right, can be a toxic behavior. Yeah. Let me establish this. Toxicity is not the exclusive reserve of any particular gender, because I'm talking this thing now. Some people are just saying, yes, the men, all those men, tell them men are this, men are that. Calm down. It's not only one gender. There are also ladies that are very toxic. It's not irrespective of gender. It's a behavior thing. All right. It's a behavior thing. And it's not only male that have behavior or female that have behavior. It's a behavior thing. As long as you're human. All right. Something about your emotional development all through your growing up years up till now is what's responsible for how you relate with the world around you. The human being is a relational being. That's how God built us. That's how God created us to relate one with another. All right. So any form of relationship that you have that is drawing down your spirit all the time, it's attacking your sense of self. That relationship is not healthy for you. I can't overemphasize that. And guys can do that, ladies can do that. It's not irrespective of gender. All right. So let me talk about some obvious ones. So the physical ones, for example, are the things like hitting, not just the hitting, but threat of hitting. Somebody is always threatening you. I will break that your head. I will break your head. I will break your head. I will just give you a punch now. I'll blow your nose, I'll slap you, They don't need to literally do it before you take dressing. Because if they are saying it repeatedly, it's just a matter of time that it will happen. Sure, you remember that person. Had it been I know you now, had it been I know you, I would have given you a dirty slap. And what? The slap has landed on somebody's face. Had it been I know you. That's because that person has always been, I will slap you now. I will slap you. Before you know, wow, slap has entered. So when we're talking about some of the physical traits, right? It doesn't have to be the action itself yet. If the person is always threatening it, then take that as your cue to know that this thing will soon happen if you're still there. All right. So there's the physical one. There are all those verbal abuse. Sometimes it's the ladies who do better in running down their guys. Sometimes it's the guys. So like I said earlier, it goes both ways, right? Words like, so the same man should stand up and you stood up. That's verbally toxic, because now you're attacking the person's sense of self. What you're telling the person indirectly is that you're not man enough. When they're saying men should stand up, no, you should be sitting down because you're not a man. And what's that going to do to the person? He's going to feel less of himself. He's going to feel really terrible. And usually these things don't stop there. It's garnished with attitude, with, and all of the other gestures and even more talk that just makes this person feel miserable. Sometimes it's the guys, saying all such hurtful things at ladies. I've tried, let me tell you, let me just confess to some of you or to you guys. Sometimes I try to go and get practical examples of some of these terrible things that people do. But I find it very hard to keep it in my brain. I find it very hard. Maybe I have to be just writing it down on my notes so that I'll remember that, hey, see this, but I find it hard to keep these things because I don't want to, I'm careful about the space, what I allow into my head, do you understand? But then if you're on social media a lot, then you will see a lot of the things that people demonstrate or that they do to themselves, and you have practical examples for toxicity. So some examples beyond physical, verbal outbursts, infidelity, because that's another thing. If you're married, your partner is always cheating on you or threatening to cheat on you or behaving in very suspicious ways all the time, that is also not good, So all of those are the obvious ones. What are those other things that you don't readily see but happen a lot? Now, let me give you some examples. If you're in a relationship, but you are always very careful about what you say, how you say it, when you say it, you're always calculating. I don't know how she will take it now. I don't know how he will take it. Let me not say it now because of that. And they will treat me like this or they will talk to me like that, So you're not free to express yourself as you ought to. All right. That's some subtle sign of toxic behavior there from your partner, because what is that thing that is making you afraid? Why are you walking on eggshells in your relationship that is supposed to be a loving and enjoyable one? All right. What really is it? If you check it, sometimes it's because when you say something, they process it in a way that you even start wondering, how did that thing come to your mind? That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. Someone says, for example, I know we had arranged to see you earlier, but we had arranged to see earlier, but something came up at work, and I doubt I can make it today. So let's just make it. Let's reschedule for tomorrow. Now, this conversation is happening between a guy and his girl, right? They had agreed to see by 7 p.m. after work, and then they go home. But then she tells you that something came up after work and she's not sure she can meet that 7 p.m. So instead of keeping you waiting, let's just reschedule for tomorrow. Now, the guy that she's having this conversation with is a young man that he's passed 2 relationships. The girls have been cheating on him. In fact, the one he wanted to marry, he later discovered that she was still sleeping with her ex. So he was very angry. And this is usually the format they give him. Once he can't reach them, they are, cheating on him. Now he has met a new girl that does not even know anything about those other people in his life. This new girl is committed, is serious-minded, is focused. But unfortunately for her, she did not know that this person has this history in his head. And she gives him a very genuine case. Oh, I can't meet up today because my boss has detailed me to work on something and I have to submit it 8 a.m. tomorrow. That is the situation. That is what she's saying. But what he is hearing, as a result of his own experiences, his own belief systems, his own insecurities, all right, what he's hearing is, I got another guy. I need to go see someone else. I'm not coming to see you. You don't have enough money. You're not fun enough, and so I'm off to someone else. Why? Because those are the vibes he got from his previous relationship. So now all she said was, let's reschedule till tomorrow. But Oga's response is going to be, you are very silly. Something is wrong with you. You are mad. Who do you think you're playing with? I will deal with you and that guy. I will mess him up. And she's wondering, what are you talking about? Like, hello, from where to where? What have I said that has suggested I'm going to meet any guy? I told you I have a deliverable. Something came up, and the guy is swearing at her. He's saying all of those hurtful things. I will deal with you. In fact, before you are going to see that person, better return the wig I bought for you. Better, and before you know it, so that she will not lose that relationship, she will not say, okay, don't worry, I'm coming. And then she goes over to see him. And then, of course, she can't meet up with that deliverable anymore because she spends the whole evening trying to beg and convince that it's not what you are thinking. That's not what I meant. How could you even say that? No, look at the email. No, I don't want to say, I don't want to hear. Forget that rubbish. That's what people always do. All you girls, they cannot trust that. At the end of the day, lady is just wondering from where to where. What did I say? What did you hear? Is it what I said that is causing all of this trouble? So I don't get it, right? Now, you see, that's a situation where the next time you're supposed to genuinely, miss an appointment or reschedule an appointment, you're going to think about it very carefully. I beg, but before you go and say, no, let me go and attend to him. You see, what you don't know is that by the time you do that repeatedly, you are walking yourself into the manipulative zone and control of this, your partner. And control is one of the core qualities of a toxic person. They don't want you to have a life. They want to regulate everything you're doing. And like I said earlier, it's both guys and girls. In another session, I'll talk about how why people are toxic, right? And it's going to be really therapeutic for someone, I'm telling you, because we'll get into matters, we'll get into your childhood and upbringing and things like that, so we'll get into the why later. Now, control, that's what I was talking about, is one of the qualities of toxicity. If you find yourself always eager to know everything about what your partner is doing, then listen, you are heading on the path of control, and that path is toxic. You cannot know everything they are doing per time, and you cannot be the one determining what they do, where they go, what they say, who they talk to, who is their friend. No, you cannot be the one determining that. And somebody needs to hear this clearly. If your husband or your husband-to-be has started laying down the rules for you, where you can go, where you cannot go, who can be your friend, who cannot be your friend, when you can take this call, when you can't take that call, when you should do this, when you should do that, or your wife, in some cases, is the one laying these rules. That is a toxic person already. If it's still relationship stage, get wisdom and know what to do. Why? Because that behavior is coming from a very, very deep place. You can't cure it. No, you cannot. I say you cannot cure it. You're not the one that will help them. They need serious therapy. You're not a therapist, are you? If you're a therapist, you'll not be in that kind of relationship because you know better, supposedly, right? So point is, when you notice that is a terrible trait. You see that control thing? No human being deserves to be controlled. No human being. Because control is fundamentally infringing on your right, your personal sense of self and dignity, and your right to express yourself as a free moral agent. Nobody is supposed to force your decision. Force, as it were, determine what you do or don't do as a way of life. Now, I'm not talking about certain controlled environments for certain reasons. Do you understand? If you're working in a place where there are specific rules and specific observations, now that's different. You have to observe that because that is needed for that purpose. But I'm talking about your everyday life. Have you heard people say stuff like, all these ones are just doing, when we get married, that your phone, I will seize it. Or I will change your SIM card. That's control. The bad part is some don't even say anything. As soon as you are getting married and you are going to the hotel room, they are handing you your new SIM. Give me the old one. Oh yeah, all those your old boyfriend, all those your ex. And like I tell people many times, what you don't know is that number is not just in the SIM card. It is backed up in the cloud. Besides, it is backed up in their own cloud here, in their own mind. And so they don't need phone to know somebody's number. Is there? I've heard people who say that they deleted their boyfriend's number, but they still pick their phone and dial the number, quick dial. It's there, it's at their fingertips. Do you understand? So if somebody is behaving like that, that is control. If a partner is insisting that at every point in time, you must give them hourly updates on your whereabouts. Where are you now? What are you doing? Send me screenshot. Sorry, send me live, what do they call that? Live location. You are being controlled. Who are you talking to? Why are you laughing like that? Who is that person? Who is on the other end of the call? God, end that call now. I know it always comes with that commanding tone. All right. Sometimes it comes with the commanding tone. Sometimes for if it's for the ladies, many times it comes subtle, with a subtle manipulative, tone. Some are commanding like that. Who is that? Who are you talking to? Where are you going to? Where are you? That thing is control and it's wrong. You shouldn't want to do that to any human being. You see, the thing is, the person who is trying to control is not even in themselves or by themselves accountable enough to that person. It's not like what they're demanding of you. They will like it if you're demanding it of them. It's not that what the updates they're expecting from you. It's not like they're even supplying that update, but they just believe that they are the ones who have the right to control someone else's life. Listen to me. It is entirely unacceptable in a relationship. Control is a toxic trait. As I'm sharing this with you, I'm sure different examples are popping up in your head of people certain relationships you have probably been in, or you have heard people talk about, where one partner runs everything. And this is the challenge. Let me address this issue. This is the challenge with ladies objectifying themselves. This is the challenge with women or girls who believe that they are commodities that should be bought by the highest bidder. If you present yourself as a commodity, that money is all that matters to you, and you would submit to anyone who flashes your price tag, what happens is that you are submitting yourself to the control of money, because this man has seen that it is money that will determine what is right or wrong for you. It's money that determines whether you smile or whether you're sad. It's money that runs your life. They will flash money to you, and because they know that you will always need that money, it becomes the object of their control. It becomes the tool, rather, of their controlling you. All right. So please, ladies, let there be some dignity in yourselves. Please stop this thing of, if you give me money, I will do anything for you. Stop that. Your life is worth more than that. All right. Now, why am I saying this? Because many people have walked their way into the control of their partners unknowingly because of the kind of gifts you are accepting. You were fine by yourself before you met this person, but the moment you met him and saw that he had money, all your needs in life started resurrecting. Oh, I need to renew my house rent. Oh, my brother needs school fees. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, this, oh, that. And at the end, there are people with this mindset that if he's your boyfriend, he should take care of you. I told somebody the other day, this idea of taking care of somebody in a relationship, stop it. Stop it. That level of responsibility is for marriage. You see, but if we don't do it in a relationship, how do you know whether there are moderations to these things? That you are dating if you're a guy, listen to me, that you're in a relationship with a woman does not mean you have become her sponsor, does not mean you are the one who will run her life. Should you give to somebody you love? Of course, you cannot love without giving. But the essence of that relationship the essence of it is not that you are now her financial sponsor in life. That's not what it is. Even if you can afford it, let wisdom guide you, people, for goodness sake. Both the one who has the money to spend and the one who's on the receiving side. Let wisdom guide you. Don't be driven by your greed. Many people have destroyed promising relationships because of greed. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Look at the one you gave me. It's not funny. Like, look at this. Have you seen those skits or those comedy things that people do where it's a girl's birthday and the guy buys, there was one I saw the other day, he buys her a loaf of bread and presents it to her. And she's like, what rubbish? Is it bread you're giving me on my birthday? Like, first of all, you the person, the girl, don't even have sense to know that for him to give you this bread, it is a cover. Like, on a normal day, does he buy you bread? How will you just expect that they gave you bread as gift, and then that is all that they're giving. It should spark your curiosity. You should want to know, wow, what is this about? Okay, let's see where this goes. I know those things are acted, but trust me, there are a lot of daft people like that in real life. Maybe that came out too hard, but yes, there are a lot of daft people like that in real life. And I'm saying that so that if you have found yourself in those kind of thinking, you should start taking dressing now. So let me continue my story. I said all that you may have seen. The guy it's his girlfriend's birthday, and he comes to her with a loaf of bread, and her friends are there, of course. And then she starts insulting him. What rubbish? Is it bread you're giving me on my birthday? And blah 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 blah. You did not see this to buy. You didn't see that to buy. You didn't see iPhone to buy me. You didn't see this to buy me. You're giving me bread on my birthday, and then she starts humiliating the guy, stuffing the bread in his mouth, like, you eat your own bread. Eat his bread. You're giving you eat it. Just humiliating, and the guy just stands there speechless. And as she was cutting the bread, she got to somewhere in the middle of the bread, and there was a car key right there. And then she goes, and then the guy collects his car key, collected his bread, goes outside, and there's a beautiful car decorated there for her. But bad behavior has not allowed her to be great. All right. Now, of course, those things are skits, but there are lots of lessons in all of those kind of things. All right. First of all, who told you that this person must spend so amount on you because he's your boyfriend? Who told you that? What level of entitlement is that? Do you know if business has gone bad? Do you even know how he makes the money? All right. Who told you that he must spend so amount on you? And then when you don't see that, you start getting angry. It is this love for money that have taken so many people to untimely death and to situations that they cannot recover from. All right. So don't let your life as a young lady, don't let your life be run by how much somebody is putting on the table. That's how people walk themselves into being controlled, because this person knows that with all I have spent on you, you cannot have a voice. You cannot have a say. If you say anything, I withdraw the money I'm giving you, and then you are helpless. So you have to depend on me. Money is one of the biggest tools with which people control their partners in a relationship. And you can deliver yourself from that by not being greedy, first things first, and then knowing that your life does not consist of material things. All right. So let me move on. I was talking just about control, and I've spent a lot of time on that. Another thing that is really toxic is hostility, where your partner is always hostile, always fighting, always antagonizing. Any little thing, they start raising their voice. They start calling you names. They start referring to ugly events in your life or in your past, and they start threatening to hit you or to do something terrible to you or to someone or something dear to you. All of that hostile behavior is another very classical case of toxicity. All right. I said that I was going to talk about the causes of this, but I know I won't get into that now. I'll do that next week. Because God helping us, because that will really take our time, as I'll begin to dig deep into how, the conditions of your home and upbringing and environment, form people into the people that they are today, right? But when you see somebody who is hostile like that, like I said earlier, it's proof of a much deeper problem that person has, a much deeper emptiness and challenge in their emotional development, right? And you are not the one that will change it. You cannot change it. It's not you that caused it. You can't. So don't stay there saying that I'm the only one that knows how to. Every time he behaves like that, if he just sees me, or you just calm down. Stop it, or you're deceiving yourself. In fact, that's another form of a negative relationship called codependency, where somebody has a terrible attitude, but you believe that I'm the only one that can help him. So at the end of the day, you are there enabling that bad behavior because somehow it just looks like it's favoring you. That's a conversation for another day. All right. But if you have a partner who's always hostile, all right, take note that that is a toxic behavior. And I'm saying most of the things I'm saying on the premise that this is a relationship, it's not yet marriage. All right. So when I tell you walk out and I tell you end it and I tell you go away, I'm saying because it's a relationship. If it's marriage, what I'll tell you is come for counseling. All right. I won't administer anything here until we're talking in counseling. That's what you need first, is counseling. All right. But before counseling, if there's any other thing, I'll tell you, just go for knowledge, go and learn, right? Because for marriage, I treat that differently. But all I'm saying is on the premise that you're still in a relationship. And this person is always hitting you, hitting the wall, banging the door, raising their voice, destroy your phone, smash your laptop. What are those things you see? I remember somebody said one time of how he had a quarrel with his girlfriend and she went outside and smashed his glass, his windscreen. I remember another one said his girlfriend took his car key and flung it into the lagoon. Hostility. And these are things that just 5 or 10 or 20 seconds afterwards, they would have calmed down and start saying, well, they may not even say sorry, but they say a kind of sorry that is also manipulative. How? Somebody is apologizing and is blaming you for his action. Oh, I'm sorry now, but it's not because you're always talking anyhow. Look at what you did. Look at what you did. So at the end of the day, they have taken, it's no more an apology. It's no more an apology. Because the emphasis there is not on what they did, but rather it is because you made me do it. And the truth is that as a full-blown human being, full-grown human being, adult, there is nobody that is making you do anything. What you are doing is what you have decided to do. Don't forget I said that your behavior, whatever that trigger is, it meets the capacity it meets that behavior inside of you. Is what you have put on your inside. All right, that trigger meets. So you say somebody triggered me. There was anger inside, so that trigger brought out anger. It's not the person's behavior that put anger inside of you. Do you understand that? So people need to learn to take responsibility for their own shortcomings. You can't keep blaming your bad behavior on your partner. It's because you this. It's because you that. You see, but in these examples I've given, I've identified a number of points. So one of those points, for example, let me just highlight it because it's like I'm not even following the points I wrote out. One of those toxic behaviors there is blaming you for their bad behavior. All right? Someone is supposed to be apologizing, yet they are the ones who went hostile on you. They are the ones who are doing the wrong things, but then they are blaming you. It was because you spoke to me like that. It was because you didn't call me. I've told you should be calling me every 2 hours. When you don't call me, what do you expect me to think? And you don't love me anymore now. And then they start putting the blame on you, right? So that again is a toxic behavior. I mentioned control. I mentioned hostility. I've also talked about blame game now. It's one of the ways people manipulate others. And if you're in a relationship where you're always having to explain yourself again and again and again and again, no, that's not what happened. No, that's not what I was trying to say. No, it's not because, see, are you comfortable? Let me even ask you. Are you comfortable? Is that the life you have imagined for yourself? Can't you see that this thing is not going anywhere? But many times, because people have put their minds on the rewards they get from that relationship, it becomes hard for them to disconnect. And then they are trapped by that greed. Because many times people see, time and time again, I've spoken with people that I'm asking, so how's your relationship going? And they're like, don't forget it. Like, I'm like, are you going to get married? Never, God forbid. So what are you doing with this person? What do you mean by never? Just for now, because there's some kind of benefit they're holding on to. Sometimes it's money, other times it's sexual gratification. All right, but this is not helping your life in any way. I put up something on my Facebook the other day that the problem that exes have caused in this relationship matter, is a lot. It's a lot. Because this thing is not working, but you are staying there. Because of whatever it is you are benefiting. Then at the end of the day, it has to pack up. You move on to somebody, but you're still in one way or the other connected to that person. Or even if you're not connected, the memories, the trauma, or the experiences you've had with that person, you start taking it out on your new relationship. In so many ways, this matter of X is just messing up people's current relationship. But when they told you, restrain yourself, control yourself, don't give in, don't get sexually involved, don't even get into this relationship, it's not going anywhere, you say, no, I want to go and check something. Then you go inside and then you live the rest of your life with the repercussions of that behavior. All right. So please, Reverend Chima says trapped by greed. Exactly. So please, don't walk your way into someone's toxicity. Once you spot it, please start trying to disconnect as much as possible. All right. Later I'll talk about how to walk away from it because there are certain things you should do to at least know that you have You have given it a chance. Do you understand? Another very toxic trait, let me talk about it very quickly, is dishonesty. Dishonesty. There is no relationship if there's no trust. All right. And it's as foundational as that, it's as basic as that. There is no relationship if there is no trust. All right. So by the time you have a partner who is always, and you see, the point is not a one off thing, it's the fact that it is persistent, always telling lies. Take note. I'm not saying that they're lying to you yet, but they are always telling lies, even to other people. Because if they are lying to other people, they will lie to you. Don't you get it yet? If they are lying to other people, they will lie to you. If you are with him in, okay, let me stop using him, let me use her. If you are with her in Area 1 in Abuja, and a call comes in, and she says, oh, in fact, right now I'm in Zuba. It's not you that they are lying to, but they are comfortably telling lies in your presence. All right. They talk about how they confuse people or how they swindle people or how they are talking about it comfortably in your presence. You already have your signal that this person is not an honest person. But this is the confusion many young people have. You say, it's not me. It doesn't behave like that to me. Don't worry. It's your turn. You are in line. Or your turn is coming. Or what you don't even know is that all this while, all the things you have been believing were just lies. Because all this person knows how to do is tell lies. You see, Chomsky says some people can lie. Oh, yes. And from the moment you start catching them, please don't even wait to check whether they are telling the next one. Just tell yourself, this one is not for me. Because these behaviors don't change suddenly. Exactly. When Chima says they're lying to you already. Oh, yes. Yes. It's just think about the heartbreak, the disappointment you feel, knowing that everything you had thought about this person was a lie, or everything that this person had been telling you all the while was a lie. Just imagine that. And do you know that some people go ahead and get married? I've seen this time and time again. Somebody has gotten married already before they discover that this brother does not have work. But all the while, he has been dressing in office clothes or picking in office car or, just giving you a charade, one kind. But then now you are married. On Monday, it's not going to work. Tuesday, it's not work. What of the work now? They say, no, it's contract. I should do contract. Okay, when is the next contract now? We are submitted. We are waiting. 3 months, 6 months. This person, before long, you start seeing how they live off their friends. And there are plenty like that in Lagos and Abuja. They live off their friends. Contribution. Hey, just raise me, I want top up for my car. And they drive a fine car. Yeah, I just want to buy for my transfer, my card, they get issues, That's how they live off. 30K here, 20K here, I'm in between jobs. Thank you, sir. Nice stories like that. Nothing. If this lady or the person, if that partner was observant enough in the relationship and asking the right questions, you should have on a normal day found something that will make you know that something is not checking out here. And please don't get married in the hopes that it will be sorted out in the marriage. These are the things we are telling people since that they're not hearing. If you are not convinced before the marriage, it's okay to say, you know what, please let's take a break on this. Certain things are not checking out for me. It's okay to do that. It's okay. Because you don't want to get inside and now discover that I have believed a lie all my life. So please, when you find dishonesty in someone, it's a toxic behavior because it does not help you. Do you know what? When someone is lying to you, do you know what it really means? It's not because they love you. I saw one rubbish one time. Thank God I just remembered this. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I just remember this now. Somebody posted online that I can't remember the names. So a guy is in love with, let me say, Madam A. And he's also in love with Madam B. And he tells A about B. Okay, I think it's something like a guy is sleeping with girl A and girl B. And then he tells girl A about B, but does not tell girl B about A. Which one does he really love? And then you see people commenting, if he told A about B, that means A is the real one that I really love. No, if he told B, if he did not tell B, It's very stupid things. I think in one of those things, I put there that what has love got to do with this conversation? Because love is definitely not here. All right. Now, why am I saying that? Because there are people who believe that it's because I love you that I'm even exposing you to my misbehavior, to my false life, to my lack of principles, to my you're the real one, you're the real person that I love. That's why I can tell you all of these things. It's okay, that's good and fine. He can say what he wants to say. But you that is on the receiving end, when you have seen those things, for you, that should be the alarm that says, get up, pack your things, and run. All right? What do you mean that you're supposed to be in a serious relationship, but then you're keeping two chicks, and then you're sleeping with both of them, and then telling this one and not telling that one, and it says because you love one. It's just how this generation confuses themselves. It's the wisdom of the world, which is absolute foolishness. All right? So please, when you find people who are dishonest, it is a clear sign of toxicity. It will break your heart in a very terrible way. Very terrible way. They will, oh, no, very terrible. All right. So please avoid such people. Avoid them. I see this dishonesty. It shows in many ways. Oh, let me just drop two troublesome tips and run in me. Okay, one. He wants to know, he wants access, or she wants access, the abusive person, the toxic person, wants access to your devices all the time. But you cannot go close to their phones. By devices, I mean your tablets, your phone, your laptop. They want to know your password. They want to be able to, when you're sleeping, pick your phone and look at it, or when you're not around, check your messages, and they want to do that. But you cannot get access to their devices. I think this one is better for married people, so let me leave it for married. You're married to somebody and you cannot have access to their devices. You don't know their password. I'm not saying that you're going to look for anything inside, but if you people are open to yourselves enough, if you are friends enough, if you are upright enough, you will not have anything to be hiding. Why should your partner not know the password of your phone? Why? Why should they not know your ATM card and what do you call it now? PIN. Why not? Why not? Why shouldn't they know your banking details? Why not? I'm talking about your partner, your life partner. Life. You will share every other thing, but this one. So these things are more important to you than your partner. That's what it is. All right. Anyway, let me not push too far. It's almost my time. So I talked about dishonesty. All right. Consistently, this person is dishonest. You don't want to do relationship with that person. Jim said the password has password. You can never crack it. Never. I've seen one video where somebody is the husband is sleeping and she's trying to use his fingerprint to open the phone for where he tried. No way. It will not work. You can't find nothing. Right? So dishonesty of any kind is very toxic. You want to avoid it. If you have someone who has been lying to you or who has boasted to you of how they are lying to other people, please take note that person is not good for your relationship, because if they are lying to others, they will lie to you. Let me just know that one there. All right. Another one is disrespect. Now, how does disrespect show up? It's not just in it's not that they tell you that they're insulting you outside. They are mad. They're crazy. Now, of course, that's disrespectful. But I'm not just talking about those ones. I'm talking about things as fundamental as not having regard for your principles and your boundaries. All right. If you cannot have regard, or if your partner does not have regard for your principles and your boundaries, you guys cannot even be in a relationship. Like, there's nothing you're trying to fix there. It cannot work. There's something says, even in dating stage, if you can't access your partner's phone, run. As a matter of fact, why is the reason? Why is that reason that you cannot be open to yourselves? Why? Anyway, so back to disrespect. When someone does not respect your principles and your values, that is a clear mark of disrespect. All right. I have told you what I believe, maybe about my faith. For example, I don't compromise my service days. I'm a worker in church. This is my discipline. This is my service to God. And then because I'm a worker in church, I don't put anything in my Sundays because from 7 a.m. or from 6 a.m. I'm up and about, you know. Even after first service, I stay for all 2 or 3 services as the case may be. After that, I do 1 or 2 meetings, and then by the time I get home, maybe it's evening, I'm exhausted. All I just want to do is rest and prepare for Monday. All right. And then you have a partner who insists that it is on Sunday by 12 noon, while you are still in third service or second service, that he wants to see you and he must see you now. And if they cannot see you, there's problem. Clearly, that person does not respect what is important to you. All right. If you say, both of you say you're Christians, you're believers, but then you have a partner who does not respect anything about the tenets of our faith, then that person is, what kind of believer is that? He's not a believer. You are not on the same page. You see, so that is disrespectful. Anything that violates your core values and principles is disrespectful to you. You cannot still be there. Because what they try to do is to consistently do that behavior until they completely break that aspect of you. And that thing you hold so dear to you no longer means anything to you. So they do it to you so consistently. Let me go back to the church example. So consistently until you stop going to church entirely. That's where they were going to. And at the end of the day, you just discover when you look back on your life that, wait, what have I become? What have I become in this relationship? Why? Because it started subtly by mounting pressure regularly on you, compromising on your values and your principles. Why should you do that? Why? Perhaps it's about your giving. How can you be paying tithe? Have you not heard that? All this tithe itself. And they start bringing up some very lame arguments that they don't even understand what they're talking about. And then you too, because you don't have depth now, you're not getting confused. You now stop tithing, you now start, and then before you know it, you're not even giving at all in church. You're not doing any form of kingdom giving. You're not questioning everything about self preaching because of that bad influence we call relationship. You see, please, if they are violating your principles and values, that's disrespect. If I tell you I don't take visitors in my house from 7 p.m., please don't be calling me by 7 and saying you want to come over. You cannot come over. If I tell you I don't sleep over in a guy's house, if a lady is telling you that I don't sleep over in a guy's house, then if somebody is telling you come and sleep over in my house, that person is disrespecting your values, especially when you have made it clear. So you cannot keep being friends because it's just a matter of time. They will have given you enough reasons and you will consider it and you will go and every other thing will fall apart. And that's the beginning of a new highway of destruction for you. You see, so when people don't respect your values, that is a toxic behavior. The more you continue doing it, the more they will help you completely erode and destroy those values. And your values are what make you who you are. So if your values are gone, then you feel like you don't even know what, you don't have a sense of self anymore. You feel so disappointed. You feel like you failed yourself. And many times a lot of people are not able to get out of that feeling. All right. I didn't realize my time is really gone. So I'll stop there. There are a number of other things I wanted to say. I really didn't get to use my notes a lot. There are a lot of examples I thought I would give. Anger, intimidation, a number of examples. Anyway, that's that for that. I mean, we're doing this again next week, all right? And I'll share some more by God's grace. So please, the basic example I gave at the beginning, for those of you who joined later, was that any relationship, any association that you're in that makes you feel demeaned, unsupported, misunderstood, attacked all the time is unhealthy for you, is toxic for you. Any relationship where your physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual well-being is threatened intentionally by this person, and it has to be repetitive. So I'm not talking about things that happen one-off, but discover that this thing is a pattern from this person. All right, that is an unhealthy behavior. Whatever it is, whether I find the examples, whether I talked about your example or not, if you find yourself in that kind of environment, please, it's unhealthy, it's poisonous, it's detrimental to your growth, it's detrimental to your well-being. So please, avoid such a relationship. It's not doing you any good. Many people are suffering today because they got the signals that this thing was unhealthy, but they chose to stay, sometimes out of fear. I've said this again and again. Don't stay in a relationship that is toxic because of how long you have been there. Don't do that. You say we've dated for 4 years now. If I just break up now, it will just look like I just wasted my time. Yes, it's better that you wasted all of that time, but at least you learned something that has impacted your life now for your future. Then you say, okay, because I have been making this mistake for a long time, let me just keep making it for the rest of my life. How is that going to help you? How is that going to help you? So don't keep staying in a place that is detrimental to your life because of how long you have stayed there. No, from the moment you get from the moment the light shines on your heart, please wake up, put an end to it, and start yourself up on a new path. That might just be the beginning of all of the breakthrough and all of the great things you have been praying for. Because the truth is, many times you need to shut one door for another door to open up to you. You need to close one door for something else, something entirely new to open up to you. All right. Dr. Mike Murdoch said, what you're willing to walk away from determines what God will bring to you. All right. Joseph was willing to walk away from Potiphar's wife. Yes, it cost him what looked like a demotion at first, but eventually it led him to the throne. What you're willing to walk away from determines what God will bring to you. David was not willing to walk away from Uriah's wife, and it cost him eight deaths in his family. Eight. If you follow the count, let me see if I can remember all of them now. Of course, he killed Uriah. Because of that, his first baby born by Bathsheba died. Ammon raped Tamar. Ammon got killed. Absalom got killed. About 8, if you follow the story, right? Why? Because he was not willing to walk away from the naked woman that he saw, right? So what am I saying? When you see certain things that are harmful to you, please, especially if you've been in this relationship for a while or you're contemplating this relationship, please stop it and walk away, all right? Because that thing is not going to lead you anywhere good. Let me say this again for those that did not hear me and do not understand. Any consistently negative trait in your partner cannot be changed by you. It is very fundamental to them. It was before you, it was there. It is not you that will change it. And even if they change because of you, that is good. But please don't stay there that I will make them change. If they are changing, let them change on their own, whether you are there or not. All right? But don't say, I will try to change this person, because that is not in your power to do. Many of those behaviors are things they find themselves helpless about. Some of them have thought about it over and over again and have accepted that I can't help myself, leave me. All right? And then you now come in and say you want to change it. Let me just end with this point, because it just came to mind now. When some relationships start, they start off very well, as a matter of fact. But what do you expect? If somebody is trying to woo you, do you expect them to put up bad behavior to get your attention? They have to look for what appeals to you. So don't get excited at when people are telling me about their relationship sometimes and everything is just fine, just so good at the beginning. I'm like, it's okay, but I am not moved. And please don't be moved yet. Please don't be. All right? I'm not saying you cannot believe for the best, but I'm saying that at this point, don't let your emotions guide your judgment. Keep your eyes very clear. Let your spirit be sharp. All right? Let your discernment be sharp. Let your praying in tongues be heightened this period so that you can receive signals when necessary. Because anybody can put up best behaviors at the beginning. It's usually over time. We'll not check whether they were really what they were saying that they were. People have gotten married or into a relationship because of the way the person was praying in tongues in church. Calm down. Calm down. It's very good. But let time and character, let their lives demonstrate that they have internalized the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Let it show forth in their conversation, in their lifestyle. Let it show forth first before you start falling head over heels. At the beginning, like them, good. Respect them, fine. But please don't be blown away just yet. Keep your discernment sharp. That is the time that you are, if you have counselors or coaches like us around you, that's the time you're talking with us. Like, hey, see what I'm thinking, or what do you think? What And don't be afraid that if I go and tell my counselor now, I will cancel this one. But that's why some people don't that's why some people don't talk. Because somewhere in your mind, you know that this person is not good for you. And they will point it out. But you don't want anybody to sign your career better. They just leave me. I will manage it. And then you go. And then you start crying later. So let me stop there for now because I've already passed my time. All right. Any behavior that consistently draws you down, demeans you, makes you feel less of yourself, makes you feel attacked, does not give you the support you need in your relationship, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, that is a toxic environment and you don't want to keep being there.